Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. I'm going to do a reading today on Jim Jordan, and I'm going to do a yesterday, today, and tomorrow reading on him. He has been in the news a lot the last 7 years or so, mostly as a very outspoken member of the MAGA faction of the Republican Party, but also because of the sexual assaults that happened at Ohio State with members of the wrestling team by a team physician, of which Jim Jordan was an assistant coach on that wrestling team. Now, it came out that the wrestlers on that team did let assistant coach Jordan know of the molestations and the assaults at the time, and he did nothing. And when one of the wrestlers went public with it in hearings like in 2020, it's alleged that Jordan reached out to that boy and his brother, who both wrestled at Ohio State, to ask them not to confirm those rumors, probably because he was concerned about the political fallout for himself. I'm noticing a theme here as the death card flies over, so I think that's going to be the end of Mr. Jordan, is that he was, when he was an assistant coach and this problem came up, he had a moral and ethical obligation to report that incident, and he chose not to do so, likely because it benefited him in his career to not do so. So instead of representing his constituents, in this case the wrestlers, he thought about his own best interests. Fast forward, now we have events from 2016 on. We got the 2020 election, and he seems to be up to his neck in the 2020 election with the insurrection at the Capitol. And again, he refuses to take responsibility for that. Now, I want you to think about this. If Jordan had done the right thing back when these young men reported it, it would be over and done with. He chose not to. So karma, having a wicked sense of humor, allows him to proceed down his life path to where he's now a representative who's still not representing his constituents. He's representing his own best interests. But now this wrestling thing comes back out again. And instead of Jim Jordan being some obscure person we've never heard of, we know exactly who this guy is. We know what he looks like. We know where he lives. We know about his values. In other words, when this lawsuit goes forward to Ohio State, this stinking pile is going to fall flat on his lap, and everybody knows who he is. There's no way he can hide from the shame of his inactions back then. So by refusing to deal with it then, Spirit made sure that everybody knew who this guy was and what he's all about. Just want to throw that out there for those of us who are frustrated that he didn't do the right thing and these boys had to endure what they had to endure. I should say these young men had to endure what they had to endure. But, you know, he's not going to get away unblemished by this. If anything, he made it 10 times worse by not addressing it and then proceeding to go into the public life. But let's go ahead and find out from Spirit what's one of the spiritual challenges Jim Jordan is facing in this world, and how has it impacted him yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and what's the overall spiritual message from it. Okay, disappointment. It's dealing with disappointment, dealing with things when life doesn't take things the way you want it or as you want it to. How do you deal with that? This is kind of appropriate. Let's see. In the past, we have Judgment, 4 of Swords, 3 of Wands, and 6 of Cups. Current situation is the Queen of Cups. I don't do reversals. It is interesting. It came out reversed, though. 2 of Cups, Page of Swords, and the Hermit. In the future, 2 of Wands, the Emperor. Uh-oh. Not good for you, my friend. Sun card, and the 2 of Pentacles. And then the overall message. Temperance. Knight of Wands. Let's see, can I get you down a little bit lower here? Let me back this up. The Empress. And the Wheel of Fortune. That's a really interesting spread on the top there. 3 major arcana, no less. And underneath it all is the Hierophant. Now, mind you, just want to throw that out there. The Hierophant is about, big organizations, religions, government, universities, that sort of thing. Okay, I'm just going to park that up there. So, 5 of Cups. It's dealing with adversity. Not everything in life is going to go your way. Not everything is going to go according to plan. What is a real testament to your character is, what do you do when life throws you that curveball? How do you handle it? Do you roll with it? Do you fight it? Do you deny it? No, what is it that you do? In the past, judgment. I'm going to go, I don't know if I have to go back just to Ohio State. It could be longer than that. But he was, again, and I'm going to start with Ohio State in the past because that's an obvious one, right? In the past, we've got judgment. This is answering for your behaviors. This is accountability with regards to your morality, your ethics, and your integrity. Again, at Ohio State, he had a responsibility to look out for the well-being of the wrestlers on that team. And when those young men came to him and let him know of sexual assaults that were happening, he chose not to do anything. So again, this was not what he wanted to deal with. So instead of dealing with it, he chose not to do anything. So he failed in that judgment. And what did that mean? It's that he probably, even at the time of the judgment, he's already looking for the next opportunity in his life. That's likely why or even in anything he's doing, he's never happy with the current moment right here. He's never happy with that because he's always looking ahead. He's looking for what the next opportunity is going to be. As far as like the sexual assaults, he went ahead and put them on ice. Yeah, I'll take care of it. Then he took care of nothing. He did nothing. And when he should have been taking care of the young men on his team, instead, he was trying to figure out ways not to deal with it because it was going to interrupt whatever his future ambitions were going to be. And I'd like to think that this goes beyond not wanting to do paperwork and fill that out. I don't know why he wouldn't report that. I don't know what the relationship was with that doctor, if stuff was on Jordan, but regardless, he had that opportunity to do something about it and he chose not to. Current situation, Queen of Cups. Jim Jordan is, when he was being interviewed about January 6th and being asked if he had messaged Trump during the insurrection, and all of a sudden he couldn't remember, and he's blathering over himself and talking over his own words. I text him all the time, and blah, 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 blah. Well, he's trying to, even in his current role, he is trying his level best to keep the lid on information that's going to come out on him. So again, he's on the Senate Intelligence Committee, and the January 6th committee certainly did a lot of research and showed that he has some culpability with January 6th, and even his public records, his public announcements showed that he had some culpability into that. And right now he's trying to keep a lid on everything. You've got the Page of Swords center underneath here. I think part of this is this is the Ohio State case coming out, and he knows that this is going to be problematic for him. This is a setback because it's going to bring up this whole issue that never went dealt with, and he doesn't have a good answer for it. I think also that in his current situation, he acted very rashly and very foolishly back in the day. again, I think the Page of Swords more for the wrestlers, but back in the day, being like January 6th or back in 2016, he's a very immature congressperson. Despite the fact that he's 59 years old, he acts in a very immature way. He's very loudmouthed. He's very confrontational, and it's because he doesn't have anything to back it up. I think this is also the agreement that he's made with the MAGA party, and I believe that's what this thing is showing right here. He's signed on lock, stock, and barrel with MAGA and with Donald Trump, and he's tied himself to that. And now his role in January 6th, his role in what's happened in the past at Ohio State, stuff is starting to come to light. Lord knows what else this man has done. Those are only two. I'm sure there's more, and that investigation is coming, and he's trying very hard to keep a lid on it because he doesn't want that information out about who he's aligned with. And again, we've got the government here. So in the first time, we have a university. The second time, we have the U.S. government. This time, I think, is also going to be the U.S. government. And he's looking, in the future, he has to look at his next move. I think this might happen. If this doesn't happen while he's in office, this happens when he's out of office. The truth and the full truth is going to be shown about this man. And he's going to try and explain it away, but it's not going to work because the truth is too powerful for the two of coins, the two of pentacles. I didn't know about this. These guys didn't tell me. They were lying. I didn't know that there was going to be an insurrection. All this. He's going to try and spin it. He just might try to flip. This is also my card of flipping when you're talking about like the Department of Justice. This could be a flipping card too, as the truth's coming out, and he doesn't want to go to prison for a long period of time, and he has to deal with the government. But I think also this is the truth coming out about him and his actions on January 6th, trying to keep Trump in power. He might try to get out of it, but I don't think they're going to let him get out. I think he's going to be held accountable on this one. And I think also this Sun card is going to double all the way back to what happened back at Ohio State. He didn't take the actions he needed to take. He had the responsibility to do it, and he didn't do it. So again, a lot of sorrow about his choices there, a lot of sorrow about his choices here, and he's going to be paying the price for those choices in this one. Okay, overall, what was he supposed to do? Temperance. Jim Jordan was supposed to he's supposed to deal with disappointment, but he was supposed to learn how to deal with that disappointment, integrate it into his life, and rise above it. Figure out what went wrong, make the right choices, and go forward. What was he supposed to do with that? He was supposed to be the Empress. He was supposed to be taking care of people. Like the wrestlers on that team, they had a problem. His responsibility was their well-being. And he had the power and the ability to do something about it. And he not only did he have the power to do it, but he had the responsibility, the karmic responsibility to do something about this. And if he chose not to, then karma said it's going to come back and come back at you tenfold. So here, when those young men reported that, his job was to remove the toxicity. His job was to report that physician who was doing this, to take care of not only the young men, but also the university. The university had a lot of liability with this, and him not doing anything about it is costing the university now. And it's going to cost them tenfold what it would have cost them back then. In the present, again, there's a lot of turmoil going on, and he's trying to keep a lid on it. With everything that happened on January 6th and the lead up to that, he was supposed to understand just how toxic Donald Trump was to the United States and his role in supporting Donald Trump in that regard. We have always had a peaceful transfer of power between presidents. It's one of the things that makes the United States and its democracy and representative republic an incredible thing, because starting with George Washington, presidents have been willing to give up power to the next person coming in. And Trump would refuse to do that, and he was part of the movement to prevent that from happening. So he was supposed to represent the people of the United States and the norms that we had developed. He could have gone forward to the FBI, Secret Service, but FBI mostly, with information that he had about what was going on. He chose not to do it. Now he's going to pay a karmic price for that. Going over to what's going to happen in the future, I think after he's out of the House of Representatives, he's not going to have that protection. This could happen before that, because I know that I've heard that Jack Smith is targeting the end of the year with January 6th indictments. Now, maybe he's not in the first wave, but he's going to be mentioned in it for sure. And that truth is going to be coming out. If he didn't cut a deal, if he didn't get ahead of this, working with the Department of Justice, again, temperance is going to come back. After knowing you did something wrong, you should have taken actions about that. If you didn't do it and you didn't take care of business, you had the ability to do it, you're going to pay the karmic price for it. I have no faith that Jim Jordan did what he was supposed to do for those wrestlers. I know he didn't do that. I have no faith that he did what he needed to do during the lead up to January 6th. And I have no faith that he's going to actually work with the Department of Justice to expose exactly what happened. His reward for all that obstructionism, I don't see how he avoids incarceration, to be honest. I really don't. And that could be what this card is. This could be a card of incarceration. Get ready, and because those two wands kind of look like prison cells. 4 wands would be even more looking like that. But I think he faces potential jail or prison time for his actions. And he's going to have to scramble if he wants to avoid that. And it might be too late. Okay, so that's, but you have to learn to deal with your disappointment. No, life doesn't go the way we want it to. Lord knows if it did, we wouldn't be going through the trauma of these Supreme Court cases right now if I had my way on things. But I don't. I don't get to have my way on things. I get to enjoy the ride just like everybody else. And there's no fast forward button on this VCR to skip this part to get to the good part at the end. Apparently we have to endure it. But again, rest assured, the truth is going to come out about Mr. Jordan, and everybody is going to know about it. And he's going to have to live with the humility of knowing that everybody knows who he is and what he did and the stuff he didn't do that he was responsible for doing. That's his karmic reward. He doesn't get to be somebody who's a horrible person, but they're obscure so nobody knows about it. He gets to be a horrible person who made horrible choices, and everybody gets to know about it. Okay, so thank you for following through on this reading. I appreciate your support for my channel. I appreciate all the kind words that you have, the comments that you make, the likes that you provide. And again, thank you. Very appreciative of all the support I've received from the community. And I'll continue to put out videos that I hope you find interesting and insightful. Have a great afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.